Hi there, everyone, and welcome back to True Crime and Justice. Sorry about that intro. Restream. I'm so glad I'm not paying for this app. But it's better than StreamYard, put it that way. At least at the moment, it's been letting me play videos. And if they say, oh, it's got to be your internet. Well, my router box is literally a foot away from me, if that. So it's not my internet. So hello everyone and welcome back. If you're new to this channel, you just come across and found this channel, you're welcome. Please come and join us. If you're watching on replay and you're new to this channel, leave me a comment. All I ask is you hit the like button and think about subscribing. It really does help. I was just about to say hi Angela. Hi Neuro. Hi Anne. I wasn't on last night because I was up some stupid, godly, unforgiving hour yesterday morning. I was wide awake. So I go up. And then I had the cats moaning at me to say, what the feck are you doing up this time? Don't ask me, ask my stupid brain. And then, so I was just so tired last night, I thought, no, I couldn't even get on here to do any research. That's how tired I was. And I woke up this morning. I looked at my phone. I'm not getting up. No. My 10 o'clock alarm hasn't gone off yet. I'm not getting up. I got up about 10 to 10. Hi, Micheal. I'm good. Oh. So, I stood in my garden this morning having a coffee and a smoke. I know I shouldn't smoke, but I do. Right? And I thought, holy shit. This lawn needs cutting again. Right, so, and then I looked at my slabs and I went, my slabs need doing. I gotta do my slabs. So, tomorrow morning, because I'm finding, since my housemate has moved out, that, and because my house is so clean, constantly, every time, as soon as I have a coffee, as soon as I finish it, my cup's in the sink, it's being washed up, it's being dried, it's putting it, and then being put on the side, ready for my next coffee, whenever that is. Same as when I eat anything, plate, cutlery, everything is washed up, swilled off, dried, put away. So I'm finding myself a bit bored. And I thought, well, I have got a garden here, I need to sort this garden out. So tomorrow morning, if it's dry, I don't care if it's a bit chilly, if it's dry, I'm going out, I'm going to work on my slabs. Rat virus. What rat virus? What rat virus? Oh, I'll tell you the weekend. Hold on. Resolver. Now I put another spray. It's a spray bottle one. I put another dosing on the weeds yesterday. Yeah, I did do some weeding. I just sprayed the little feckers. Right, and when I've gone out today, I'm oh wow, my weeds are actually dying. It's Resolver. Resolva. Hold on, I'll see if I can pull up a picture. Resolver weed killer use. I'll put it up on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. And it's this one here. This one, the spray one. It's in the blue. But that's for paths and drives. Perhaps I got the wrong one because I got the blue. And it said weed killer 24-hour RTU or RT, yeah. Kills weeds and roots fast. Visible effects after 24 hours. More like after the third spray and 2 weeks later, you get visible effects. You really do have to put a load of it on these fecking weeds. Because my neighbour next door was on her hands and knees going through her, and like our driveways are like mainly gravel. Right, so she's on her hands and knees, just going through the gravel, pulling up these weeds. I give up. I said, I brought this Resolve out in, it's not working. So when I come back, she's still doing it, breaking her back. Honest to God. I thought, no, I'm going to spray them again. And it worked after the third time of spraying them. But that's the one here, this one. 4-hour RTU. And that is Resolve a Path and Drive Vehicle. I might try buying that one in future, the red one. Because the blue one, it took me 3 applications to do. Oh, I know what you mean. The weed remover. Oh, I haven't found that yet. Sorry. No, I know what you mean. Yeah, that rotary line which you run along. I haven't found a link to it yet. I haven't seen anything on Amazon. But I'll definitely. There's got to be one about which is a bit cheaper than like £100. Gotta be. So I will. Actually, I'll put that down. Amazon weed remover. I'll know what I mean by that when I see that now. Well, I've written it down so I don't forget tomorrow. So, hang on, let's just see if I can find it on Amazon. Where's my Amazon here? Right. I'm just having a look on Amazon at the moment. Oh, lazy weed, electric weed remover, brush tool, moss fly. Oh, that's only $58.99. Tool moss patio block paving cleaner. Lazy weed, electric weed sweeper, weed scraper, brushes, patio cleaner, corded weed remover. That's corded. That's fine if it's cheaper than £100. I don't mind having a cord. Right. But there's another one I need, and it's like, because I've got these fecking, the dandelions. Right. They're all over my fecking back garden. So really, I need to get this other tool. It's a weed puller root remover with long handle. And you shove it in the ground, but where the weed is, and clamp it and pull it out. Right. And my son said, but you'll have patches of where there's no grass. I said, that's fine. If I can get rid of these fecking weeds out of my grass, then I'll just reseed it. Put new seed down, you know what I mean? What's this one? Lazy weed, yeah. Yeah, I'll share this. Alright. This is what I'm looking at getting, something like this. And this one here, the Walling's weed puller, is one for where you got, where these dandelions grow up in your grass. That's what I need. All the passengers on. I was hearing something about that, about a cruise ship with a virus. Yeah, but the one is for like if you got them in your grass, which I need, and these ones here are like for on the patios. You know, that's not bad price. I don't mind spending or 59 or 40, 44, 45 pounds. I don't mind spending that, but it would break my heart to spend £100. I know the one I saw because it was £100. It was cordless. But if it means having a cord, then I don't mind if it means saving like 50 odd pounds. But I'm not going to spend £100 on one. But I might order that this week actually, that one, so I can at least get them out my grass. So yeah, just runs along the in between between your slabs, and it grabs it and pulls the weeds up or everything. So I'll stop sharing that. So yeah, and I think if I had something like that, I could get my back garden done in about half an hour. Half an hour, if that. But I definitely need to get the one for the grass. And my grandson goes, "Oh, look, you got all those flowers, Gran." Sweetheart, they're weeds. No, they're not. They're flowers. They're in your grass. They're weeds. I'm going to get the lawnmower out. Don't you cut them flowers up, Gran. I'm going, they are weeds. They are not flowers. They are weeds. They are killing my grass, taking over my fecking back garden. I'll have nothing but dandelion weeds in my back garden soon if I don't do something very, very quickly. But my front garden is just as bad. And the thing is, when you mow your lawn, if you've got them in your garden, right, you knock the seeds off them, so then they're pollinating elsewhere in your garden. And I think that's why I've got so many in my back garden, because they've just been pollinating all over my fecking back garden. Oh. So, I didn't tell you, did I? Was it yesterday? Oh no, I did tell you, I think I did. When I said about my daughter's partner coming up and doing my windows and the guttering and everything, cleaning up, getting all that muck off my gutterings are white. They're not black, they're white. You wouldn't have thought that to look at them. You'd think they was like a grey or a black, but they're not, they're white. They are now white. But I said the only problem now, because he's done the gutterings and he's done the fascias underneath, we've now got to paint them. Because it's literally just ripped the paint off the fascias. It's a 5-in-1 mix. Okay. I'll try that. Well, my son brought some grass seeds months ago, because he wanted to regrass this area down the side by this wall of his that the neighbour built. And I said, you need to put some over your seeds to stop the birds from eating them, and you need to water it every night. I know what I'm doing, Mum. Okay. Those seeds have only just started to come up now. And that's because he's put more seeds down and he started watering them. I said, put a covering over them to stop the birds eating the seeds. Look, the grass is coming up, Mum. Fine. The grass would have been coming up months ago if you'd have listened to me in the first place. Okay, I'm going to have to try that. Well, I saw something today new though. It was when I turned my laptop on and I get all this page of all this new info and what's happening today and what's happening here and what, right? Apparently, Scotland's been getting snow. Where? Where? We haven't had no snow here. So I think they're up on the hills, up in the mountains. So, but apparently we've got snow up in Scotland. And I stood there and I was reading it, I'm going, looking out my window thinking, have we? Not where we are. I'm quite glad at the moment we haven't got snow because I really do need to get my garden sorted out. And yeah, because I've got nothing to do in the day, I've got all day now. I can actually go out at 9 a.m. in the morning if I wanted to. If I ever get up early again and I'm alert and awake by 9 a.m., I can now go out and do my back garden without the thought of waking my housemate up. Because she could sleep till 10, 11, even 12 p.m. And I wouldn't do a lot of my work in the garden because of waking her up. But now I can get on with it. And my daughter has said that her and her partner, my son-in-law, should say, they're not married, but I class them as son-in-law, right, are going to get the white paint. And they're coming up here on a Friday night, and they are together, all three of us together, are going to blitz this house. Every wall that needs painting white is going to be painted white. That's the living room wall, that's a big wall. Kitchen wall, that's a big wall because it's black, so it's going to take a couple of coats. The front toilet, the little toilet by the front door, that room there. My bathroom are both blue, so they need going white. My bedroom, which is a sage green, that needs going white. And the spare bedroom, which is the grandkids' room, that needs to go white. Well, only one wall and the ceiling needs to go white on there because the other three walls, I'm putting this like insulated paper on the walls because there's two outside walls. And I thought that would keep that room a bit warmer in the winter. They've got, right? And because their bunk bed's going against one of the outside walls, they feel the cold more. So I'm putting this insulated wallpaper up on. And this peel and stick one. You just put it up, peel it, sticky. The sort of paper I like. No paste. Right? No messy paste anywhere. Just peel it and sticky. So that's going, I think, on 2 walls, possibly 3. Right? I don't know. It might have just gone to 2. But then I'm going to do some little headboards for at the back of the bunks. If I've got any of that spare, if I haven't, I'll buy any other roll of it. Of that padded stuff. Right? And put it on some MDF. And just put it on there. And put the MDF up against the wall then, onto the wall. So that when they're sitting there, or they've got their head up against the wall, they're not going to hurt their head. Oh, God. In 76, I thought it was 77 we had the heat wave. But I remember that heat wave. I was 10. I remember that fecking heat wave. It was too hot to not wear, to where you could go out in t-shirts. But because it was too hot, you couldn't really do that because you could get burnt. That's how hot it was. Snow, tornadoes and storms in places, even in May. Well, you see, the weather is something we can't control. We cannot control weather. And we can't control stupidity. And that's why I don't go out very often, because there's too many stupid people outside whose faces I just want to smack. I don't go out. Because I can be in a shop and you see these people taking up a whole aisle and they're standing there yapping. Yak, 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 yak. And I go, excuse me, please. Carry on. Excuse me, please. Carry on. So by the third time, I go, get my trolley and I will ram them. Ow, you just hit my. Well, I did ask you politely twice before to fucking move. You know what I mean? So that's why I don't go shopping very often. And then you've got the checkout women who like to sit there instead of scanning what they're supposed, especially in Aldi's. Aldi's is the worst. They'll sit there in their seats talking to the person they are serving but not serving, right? And then these people take like 5 minutes or more to pack the bags at the checkouts. And I'm thinking, really? Really? Do your fucking job. Why can't you just put all your stuff in the trolley again and go to the area which states for packing your bags and pack the fucking bags over there so someone else can get served? And why can't you just do your job and fucking serve them? I said that to my doctor. I said, I don't like going out. I said, you can't control stupidity. You can't do nothing about stupidity. I said, and there's too many stupid people out there that I don't like. And that's when they put me on the mirtazapine. I think it's mirtazapine. Hold on. I'll tell you. Yeah, mirtazapine. I said, what are these for? Said they will help you sleep. And when you sleep, you'll get, if you sleep better, then you won't be so anxious. I said, but that isn't going to stop me from smacking some stupid person in a shop somewhere. Because it isn't anxiety that gets to me when that happens. It's stupidity. Anyway, we are talking about Michael David Hicks and Frank Maiwald. Right? Now, a lot of people don't talk about these people, these ones, very much. And I think it's a shame because they should. Because they get mentioned, but in a fleeting. I mean, we've got this person, blah, 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 blah. Oh, and then we got this person and this person. Okay. Right. So we'll talk about Frank Maiwald first. Hopefully it'll come up for me. Yeah. Oh, let me just sort this out. We'll go there. Right, so, and everything is, the reason I'm talking about these two guys is that they both worked at JPL, that Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, and they both worked there between 24 years and 25 years. I think Frank worked there for 25 years, and Michael David Hicks worked there for 24 years. That's a life job, isn't it, in one place? So they knew a lot, they saw a lot, and they heard a lot. So it's, I just find it. Hold on, I'll tell you something. Oh, I've just got just a minute. No, it's not here. Oh yeah, it is. That's better. So I just think it's, wow, did these employees not want to pay pensions? Oh God. Well, put it this way, if these people have died of natural causes, or even unalived themselves in some cases, then I think you've got to look at a better health plan for them, work health plan. You know what I mean? Because if they are under a lot of stress, because what did this guy die of? Hold on. He passed away on July the 4th, 2024, at the age of 61, after career spanning over 25 years at JPL. Oh, over 25 years. I've got 25 years. Over 25 years, where he contributed to advanced satellite technology and planetary research. His obituary highlighted his workmanship in the development. No cause of death was publicly released, and reports indicate, listen to this, that no autopsy was performed. Why is that? Right? Was he being treated by a doctor and they knew he was not well, but he carried on working? Like with my husband, I didn't know my husband was being seen by a doctor. This is how secretive he was. He did not tell me anything. And by this time, we'd split up. And I was living up in Scotland. And I got a phone call off the coroner asking me if I'd like an autopsy done. And I said, oh, I don't know. I don't know. Why? What did he die of? Right? And bearing in mind, I just woke up to this phone call. Right? And they said, well, we've spoken to his doctor. Yeah. And she's in accordance with us that he died of a heart attack because she was treating him for his heart. Pardon? Rewind that a bit. You spoke to his doctor who told you she was treating him for some heart condition. He went, yes, and we're both in accordance with that. I said, but I didn't know that. He said, what he tells you is it's not up to us. We can't tell you. He has to tell you. If he didn't tell you, he didn't want you to know. I thought, fucking hell, Vince, you little bastard. So all these times he was telling me he was going to work like at 10 in the morning. He wasn't. He was going to the doctors first. Oh, all these times that he said, oh, he'd be late home from work because of a delayed flight because he worked at the airport. He wasn't. He was going to the doctors after work. He had no medication, and if he did, I never saw him take any medication. I never found any medication in the home. I never saw any medication in the bedroom. Nothing. So anyway, I said, okay then, if he's been seeing a doctor and she's in accordance with your views and what you found, then okay, we'll have no autopsy. So my point is, was he being treated for something beforehand, and that's why no autopsy was done? because we've speaking to his doctor and their findings. Right, they decided it wasn't worth doing an autopsy. So no, actually, yeah, that is right. Unless they don't know what they've died of in hospital. Then say they died suddenly and they don't understand why. Then there's an autopsy done in hospital. So was he being treated by a doctor beforehand, like my husband was? But you know what his family done? Listen to this. Yeah. His family only went and had a private autopsy done. Because I phoned the Chapel of Rest place, right? So that I could work out. Because people saying, when can we go and see Vince? When can we go and see him at the Chapel of Rest? I was going, I'll find out for you. And they said, oh, well, and this was on the Monday or Tuesday after he died. And I said, when's the best time for us to come up, mornings or afternoon? She said, well, he's not here at the moment. He won't be here till Thursday. I said, where is he? And she said something and I didn't quite catch it. Because you're thinking, where's my husband? You know what I mean? The kids just want to go and say goodbye. My friend wanted to go and say goodbye. Family members wanted to go and see him and say goodbye. So, okay. So I told everyone Thursday. So me, my friend, and my kids went up, and her kids wanted to go up as well. Don't know why, but they did. And I stood at the bottom, and I went, he's so bloated. Why is he so bloated? Why? Why's Vince so bloated? It shouldn't be that bloated, surely not. I've been to Chapel of Rest and whatever before. I've never seen anyone that bloated before. Still didn't register. Then my mum went up with my sister and her husband. Or my sister, I think her husband. Yeah, her husband was out. Yeah, with my sister and her husband. And my mum noticed underneath his shirt was a bandage. So she opened up his shirt a bit more, and this bandage went all the way around his chest. Hold on, I'll be right back. Hello, everyone. Sorry about that. That was my daughter-in-law coming over with this play tent. I used to have one like it, but not long before we moved, the pole went through the top of the roof. So I said, I'm bingy. I'll just bingy. Well, she's got the same one. So she just brought it over now. So I'll put that up tomorrow. And I'll put some cushions and blankets in there, and I can go and sit in there when they stay over for the night. So, who looked ill in his photo? So, let's carry on reading this. So it says Frank Maiwald, a NASA JPL scientist, died on July the 4th, 2024, at the age of 61, with no public cause of death disclosed. Frank Werner Maiwald, born on June the 24th, 1964, in Ratingen, Germany, was a principal researcher at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, in Pasadena, California. He passed away on July the 4th, 2024, in Los Angeles at the age of 61, after a career spanning over 25 years at JPL, where he contributed to advanced satellite technology and planetary research. His obituary highlighted his work managing the development of the Surface Biology and Geology VSWIR instrument and overseeing delivery of instruments for the AMR-C program. Right? No publicly released, and reports indicate that no autopsy was performed. NASA has not provided additional comments regarding his passing. Maiwald's work involved cutting-edge satellite technology capable of scanning planets and searching for signs of extraterrestrial life. Which is... Hold on. The cats are in the spare bedroom where the playtent's just been plonked on the floor. Hold on. God's sake. Just behave yourself. You've been good all week. Sorry about that again. His death is part... Hold on. Cutting-edge satellite technology capable of scanning planets and searching for signs of extraterrestrial life. Now, that always gets me when they say signs of extraterrestrial life. So are we, the people on planet Earth, extraterrestrial life? Are we that sort of person? Which has drawn attention in the context of other unexplained death and disappearances of scientists linked to US space and defense research. It just makes me wonder. I don't like the fact they call it extraterrestrial, because we're not extra. Are we extraterrestrial? Are we? Yeah. Frank looked at... I didn't know that. I've never really seen pictures of him. His death is part of a broader pattern of mysterious deaths and disappearances among scientists in the US, including colleagues at JPL and Los Alamos National Laboratory, though no confirmed connections or foul play has been publicly established. Federal agencies, including the FBI, have reviewed these cases, but as of now, Maiwald's death remains unexplained in terms of cause. In summary, Frank Maiwald died on July the 4th, 2024, at age 61 in Los Angeles, with the cause of death undisclosed, and his passing is noted among a series of high-profile, unexplained scientist deaths under federal review. Now, I'll tell you something else as well. I came across another video yesterday of someone doing the same, taking the same route that Monica Reza took. I thought, oh, this isn't this route, the one I was watching the other day. This route looks different. Right? But it's following the map on the phone, on the app that he's got, that the route she took that day. And then I was listening to something else the other day, and we're logical thinkers, right? So we like to think we're logical thinkers, right? Because all this about, it's got something to do with NASA and all this lot, right? Someone's satellite spaceships come down and zapped them up and stupid stuff, yeah. And I said, there's a logical thing that is something logical here. It can't be. They haven't just disappeared off the face of the earth. They've got to be somewhere. They've got to be unalive somewhere or in hiding somewhere. One of the two. And you know how we was talking about that guy who she was with? Well, he was talking about Monica Reza. And he came up and he said what we said. And I was thinking, have you been watching my lives? Because he said it's got to be one of two. She's either been took into hiding, gone off grid, like either in hiding or gone off grid, or foul play. Now, if there's foul play, there's only one person involved in this foul play, and that's the guy she was with. And I sat there and I thought, I am so glad I'm not the only one thinking this. But I was watching it. I can't remember who it was now, and I thought, have they been watching my channel, my lives? Because he literally said what we'd been talking about the other night when we talked about Monica Reza. Yeah, I think foul play. I do. I really do. Like with the general, I don't know about him. But because the FBI aren't saying nothing, local law enforcement aren't saying nothing, right? We don't know if they found a car, if he was picked up in a car, took somewhere, if he has gone, if he was losing his mind a bit and decided to just go out and unalive himself. Yeah. As when this was brought to my attention, I thought, oh God. And I was looking into it and then I get info about some more who died or some more who've gone missing. I'm going, we're gonna get the Fruit Loops coming out. We really are. I don't think it was him, as four of them all worked together and went missing May, June, and August. Too much of a coincidence. I don't know. As I said, the only way, right, I can pull that map up, Google Earth up again, and there is another way. Well, there's a couple of ways off that mountain, right? But the only other way, which takes you down to the highway, yeah? Oh, no, there's two ways that could take you down to the highway. If she was met by someone on top of that mountain, yeah, where they took the photos and whatever, and then He was sent back down the mountain, and she was took off the mountain some other way. That road there, I'm not sure if it was closed at the time she went missing, because we're going back 8 months now. But when you look at these videos that people have done where they've gone searching, and they've gone within a month of her going missing and stuff like that, or a couple of weeks of her going missing, that road, that highway, is closed off. So you can only get up to the 6,000 mark, height mark, car park. You can't get any higher by road because it was closed off. Was it closed off the day she went missing? So StreamYard. By do you mean Restream or? Hold on. Oh God. Restream or Streamlabs. What you do? Oh God, come on. What you do? You go up onto the message, and you see 3 little dots. Click on there and block them. Block them. I blocked them from here, but I can't. I have tried taking them off. I keep taking them off. They are not on my YouTube mods no more. They're not there. So I don't know why they're coming into my chat still. Just block them. Go to the 3 little dots in that message and block them. Streamlabs, yeah. Just block them. I've took them off because I was looking at Streamlabs for the streaming app. And to set it up, I had to add them as one of the mods. Right? So I added them. But then I thought, you know what, I still don't understand this. I can't get this to work. Right? And I can do videos where it's just me talking, but it wouldn't show any on my videos I was playing. It wouldn't show any of my screens. Nothing. So, and then when I come on here, the first night we come on here, we was getting messages from Streamlabs. And so I went up and I blocked them from Restream. I blocked them from there. But I can't, I've gone onto YouTube, I've took them off my YouTube account. So, stop it. Stop it now. Lie down. So just click on the 3 little dots of that message and block them, please. All in missing headed to the mountains. Bob said there was a hidden lab in the mountain. Bob? Who's Bob? But you see, there's something else that's going on, I think. I've been watching YouTube, right? I always watch YouTube in the day. It's the only thing I have on in my TV. Sometimes, like on the weekend, I won't. I have my Netflix on or my Prime, right? And I watch films. The last weekend, I think it was on the Saturday, even though I was cleaning and whatever, I watched 5 flipping films that day. 5 films. I've never watched 5 films in my whole life. But I watched, okay, I was potting around, but I was listening to it, you know what I mean? And every so often I'd sit down to have a drink and I'd watch the film. But 5 films in one day I watched. So this weekend, I've got no intention of doing that. I've got my grandson coming over Saturday. I'm not having my granddaughter. She says, oh, I want to stay the night. I go, you can go, bollocks. Sorry, no. But I know within an hour of her staying here, she'll want to go home. Then she'll go home. Then about an hour later, she'll want to come back. So she comes back. Then about an hour later, she wants to go home. We had this the other weekend with her. And I went, no, not happening. Not happening no more. I'm not having it. So, Bob Lazar's story, it's #1 on Amazon. Okay. I'll check that out. But it's just, I like, when you're scrolling and you scrolling through YouTube and you see the thumbnails and I'm thinking, is something really going on, right? And then someone was playing something the other day, I think it was today or yesterday, about these like orbs, silver orbs and things like that. And I had people saying, oh, it's only in the USA, you know what I mean? It's always in the USA, and it isn't. It's all over the world. People are seeing these orbs, and they're coming very close to the people. Very close. So, is there something about to happen? Have they put them into hiding? Have they took them away somewhere? Not for their safety, but because of the work they do and the knowledge they know to work on something else secretly. Right. I'll check that out tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon once. Either before I do my garden or after. I think it'll be after, otherwise I'll never get my garden done. I'll check it out tomorrow. Right, so it's just curious how some have died, right, and some are missing. Why have those who've died, and why those who are missing? Why have they, if they are putting them into an, any other controlled area to keep them safe, right? Why didn't they keep all of them safe? If I see you all coming towards me, they better be bringing me dinner. Dang. If I was sitting out in my garden, well, one, it's got on a home security footage, right? She's got this orb on her home security footage. And she actually, it shows her going out to her front garden, standing there with her hands to the side in open palm. And the orb is coming down onto her hand. And you see her walking from the house into camera shot and standing there. And this orb comes and literally just above her hand or on her hand. But I'm wondering, is there something going? Is there something happening? That is why I think Gilmore was deleted. No one else could do what he did. He monitored everything entering Earth gravity, and since loads of meters of it, did they want to hide a biggie? Exactly. While one has a pulse, you can't see ever, can't ever, can see but has no pulse, like my house of missing dig. Yeah. But why haven't they? Why, if they've took those who are missing into whatever, why haven't they took? Why didn't they take the others? It doesn't make sense. This whole thing does not make sense. Right, now here we got that Michael David Hicks. Swear to God, you lot are cracking me up. Right? And a resident of Sunland, California passed away. That's old, and I'm decrepit because I'm 60. Right? Now, his official cause of death is listed as arteriosclerosis, heart attack. You might as well say heart attack. Oh shit, I've just gone all dizzy. Hold on. Hold on, everyone. I've just gone really lightheaded. That's a bit better. That's so light. I'm still a bit lightheaded, but not as much. Right? Now, it's arteriosclerotic cardiovascular delay. You could say cardiovascular is your heart. You've had a heart attack or you had a stroke. Right? Right, listed as that, and morbid obesity, noted as a significant condition. As I said, it's either a heart attack or a stroke he's had. The manner of death was recorded as natural, though the case remains officially open according to the Los Angeles County coroner. Right? He was born in Dayton, Ohio, and earned degrees from Boston University before completing a PhD in lunar and planetary science at the University of Arizona. Hicks had a distinguished career at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory JPL from 1998 to 2022, where he contributed to major space missions including the DART project, the Deep Space One mission, the New Earth Asteroid Tracking (NEAT) project, and Dawn mission. He specialized in the physical properties of comets and asteroids. Okay, publishing over 80 peer-reviewed scientific papers and mentoring the next generation of scientists. Wow. So these people are people who are at the top of their fields. They can't get any higher. You know what I mean? They are at the top of their fields. So why are they taking them out? If they are being took out, why are they being taken out? Now, I thought about this for long and hard the past few days. And I'm thinking, who would want to take these people out? But we can't talk about that because my channel will probably get took off air. Be right back. Sorry. So I'm thinking, how can I talk about the reasons why and who would want to take these scientists out without being struck off again? And I can't because it's too that way. Then it's getting political, and I don't go do politics on here. I don't. I don't do politics. I don't do religion. So what? There's only one, well, possibly two countries I could think of who'd want to take these scientists out. One who'd have the money to do it. Well, wouldn't have the money no more to do it. because that country's literally falling on its knees as well. UK definitely hasn't got the money to do it. And we wouldn't want to take these scientists out anyway, so it doesn't. I just don't understand why they are taking these people out. These people are at the top end of their field in their career. Coffee could be caused too. Don't say that, Micheal. I live off coffee. That country, yeah. So there's only two countries I can think of. One has got the money, but I can't see them doing it. Right? And the other country are literally on their knees at the moment because of what's happening over in the wherever. So why would anyone want to take these people out? Have they come across something that... Hold on. My cats are being a pain tonight. Hey! Toby! Toby or Bobby? Toby, isn't he? Hey! You're not digging to fucking Australia. I swear to God, this cat of mine, he thinks he's digging to Australia, Kylie. Because he's constantly, when he's in that little tray, right, he's there for like 15 minutes. And all you hear is the scraping and banging and this bumping. Thinking, you're trying to get your way to Australia? I've always said, don't take my coffee off me. You see the beast in me come out. Someone said to me once, you need to cut back on your coffee. Well, I don't drink that much coffee now. I have a coffee when I go up in the morning. Then that will last me about 2 hours. Then I maybe go and get a fresh one. Then I don't have another one then till about... Shut up, Toby. Shut up. I don't have another one then till about 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Then I have that one, and then I have one when I come on here, which I haven't got at the moment. So I only have about, what, 4, maybe 5 coffees at the most a day now. Where before I was having a coffee literally every hour. Literally, as soon as that coffee, I've made the coffee, I'll drink it. Then I'll go and make another one, like 45 minutes later, drink that one. So every hour I was having a coffee. I don't do that no more. I have a short but don't want you being kicked off as it is that person is mentioned. Oh, right. Yeah, mine's definitely coffee. I said to my daughter's little doggy, shut the fuck up, will you? You're going to lose your voice. Just go and sleep. You're constant. Right? He likes to drink the dregs out your coffee cup. And you can't put your coffee cup down because they'll drink it. So you have to hold it in your hand or put it on a table. And my daughter doesn't have a coffee table. So I tend to put it on by the side. And he had his nose in my coffee and I went, do you want to have a come to Jesus meeting? Because if you don't, Get your fucking nose out my coffee. Otherwise, you will be having a come to Jesus meeting. So, no, mine's definitely coffee. I live and survive on coffee. I can go all day without eating as long as I've got my coffee. I really can. But my friend, my housemate, I'd hear her go up in the night, go to the fridge and open a can. She loved Coca-Cola. You hear the can opening up. And as soon as she drank one, she'd come and get another one. Right? And I'm not joking. You think I drank a lot of coffee? She was drinking 2, 3 of them in an hour. She can't even walk out of her house without having a can in her hand to walk up to work with. She can't do it. And if we go out anywhere, she's got a can in her hand. And as soon as she's drank that, she'll stop at a shop and buy another can. At least I can walk to my son's or walk up to the shops and back without having a coffee. She cannot. Okay, Neuro, thank you. So, this guy, as I say, he died of a heart attack, right? Or either a heart attack or a stroke. He had a distinguished career at NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab from blah, 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 including we've been there. We've done all that. Beyond his scientific work, Hicks was known for his artistic pursuits, including woodblock prints, oil painting, metalwork, and playing the ukulele, often performing during observing runs at Mount Palomar. He is survived by his father, 6 siblings, his daughter Julia, and his ex-wife Brunella Biggie. Hicks' death has been discussed in the context of a broader series of deaths and disappearance amongst US scientists. While some media coverage has speculated on patterns, official sources emphasize that Hicks' death was natural and unrelated to any conspiracy. Did they do an autopsy? Did they check his toxins? Any toxins in his system? Any toxins that would... Because, again, they put it down to whatever. I think he's been treated by a doctor. Right? Because I don't know, that's his autopsy, wasn't it? They said that. So he did have an autopsy. But was there any toxins? Was he being poisoned? Which you might not have known about. But there's one way of knowing if you're getting poisoned, you know. And that's through your fingernails. Through your fingernails. Someone once was talking about it and they said, if you get like the white lines going across your fingernails, not just one light line, a white line constantly going across your fingernail, loads of them, it's a sign of a toxin or poison in your system. And I went, oh shit. Can't poison my husband now because I know. So, but see, my husband died of heart trouble. Right? I believe he had a heart attack in the end. And But he wasn't listening to his doctor. He went back to work too soon. He told his doctor, listen to this, told his doctor that, because he told my daughter about it, he said, because my daughter said, how have you been released to be able to get back to work? So you're still on that medication? He said, well, I told him I didn't need that medication no more, and that I hadn't used it for like a month because I hadn't needed it. And so because of that, she took him off that medication and put him clear to work. Within a week of going back to work, he died. So he wasn't listening to his doctor. He wasn't listening to his body. So, but it's just weird. I just think it's just totally weird how all these people, right? I'll see if I can find that video. That can go. That one can be closed down. That one can be closed down. Right. Anne, have you been voted today? I haven't. Tell you why. If Restore Britain had a candidate up in Scotland, I would have gone and voted. But Restore Britain haven't. Reform has, but I don't like Reform. Right, so I didn't go and vote. Trying to find. Really not bothered about. As long as Starman loses, I don't care. They're all as bad as each other, I think. I'm trying to find UFOs. I'll just type in UFO. UFO missing persons thing, okay. Let's have a look. We'll listen to that live down. David Pollard's UFO evidence in missing person cases. Trapmore Ross, I do like him. So I'm trying to find the one I was watching. I can't find it now, it's not coming up. I don't know, because there's just so much going on. You didn't vote. As I said, if Restore Britain had had a candidate up in Scotland, then I'd have gone and voted. But I'm not voting for Reform or any of them stupid, crappy ones. They're all as bad as each other. We want Labour out, but there's no one better. The only good one at the moment is Reform. But will they do what we want them to do? No. So, who are we talking about here? Oh, I'll try and get my little mouse to work. Right. My ex-mother-in-law was poisoning my father-in-law. Luckily, he found out before it was too late. Fucking hell. It is, isn't it, by poisons? Oh my lord. Making me wonder. I'll only eat my own cooking. No, I used to have a running joke. Like, people go, let's say something, I go, I've tried that, but it's not working. I've tried that way, it's not working. You know what I mean? Like, about me and my husband. It's just a running joke. Hope you don't have any connection with her no more, Anne. Because that's not safe. Right, I'm going to try and find a video for us to watch, because it's got to be a good video somewhere. See, everything's about that, the general. They don't talk about the others. You know what I mean? They're not talking about the other ones that have gone missing or been found unalived or been shot on their porch. And let's have a listen to this. This is News Nation. And it's against Clinton. Clinton on UFOs, secret files, and more UFO updates. So let's just share this with you. It is all hush hush, isn't it? It's ridiculous. This is why people are so curious about this, because there's nothing being said. Let's go down. So nothing's coming out about them, and oh no, we're doing Nancy Grace because I like her. This was 22 hours ago. Yeah. If I had a mother, a stepmother like that or whatever, I'd be checking everyone out. because, yeah, Anne was living it, wasn't she?
Scientist incinerated in his Tesla as a UFO whistleblower found dead. Tonight, the toll rising to 14. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us.
A number of them have gone missing with the same circumstances, leaving Apple Watch and phone behind.
He's literally a walking hard drive of highly classified information. So the FBI is going to be very, very interested in determining what exactly has happened to him.
How can these not be connected? How does a young scientist, without telling family or friends, decide he's going on a trip, get into his Tesla with a wallet or iPhone, like so many of the other missing or dead scientists, leaving home on foot, leaving behind all ID, wallet, cell phones, devices, any sort of links them to the military or to their research. This young scientist leaves home and suddenly crashes into a guardrail, and both he and his vehicle are totally incinerated. Joining us, an all-star panel, but first, straight out to Stephanie Harlow, co-host Crime Weekly, and you can find her at Stephanie Harlow. Stephanie, thank you for being with us tonight. What happened to Joshua LeBlanc? First of all, tell me about him. What was he studying? Let me guess, anti-gravity, jet propulsion, what?
Yes, jet propulsion. He lived and worked in Huntsville, Alabama, which is kind of the epicenter of a lot of these missing people, including Dr. Ning Lee, who was missing for a while but ended up being killed, and also Amy Eskridge. University of Huntsville is very focused on NASA, jet propulsion, research. That's the epicenter of where all that stuff's happening. But he did work with some pretty high security.
She can find
Very quickly, I want to go to John Nance, former supervisory special FBI assigned to D.C. and Miami. Got a question for you, John Nance. Explain the significance of anti-gravity research. As a layperson, the best way I can describe it is we obey the laws of gravity. We understand them. Anti-gravity aircraft of any type means that an aircraft could go up, down, to the side, tangential, any way it wished, and aids unlike anything we understand. So valuable is it? Did I capsulize it correctly?
Well, when you talk about your field propulsion systems, you're not really talking about a craft through space. You're talking about actually moving space and a craft. So a bubble is created, and I don't know exactly how that, I'm sure there are other people that could address that in much more technical terms than I can, but essentially a space time bubble is created around the craft if such technology is actually available. And so you're actually moving, warping space and time around the craft. That's why they appear to that are completely alien to our understanding of physics, or at least material science anyway. I think our physics can explain it. Material science is in no way capable at this point of producing those that kind of performance. So I think generally speaking, yes, you're correct. but it's not the normal way of thinking about like a jet engine works by
Don't ever go.
sucking in air, producing thrust, and blowing that out the back of an engine. That is not what we're talking about.
Exactly. Anti-gravity craft, as I understand it, highly advanced aerospace vehicles designed, and they manipulate gravity fields for propulsion. The most cited are 38 Black Manta. It's rumored to be a triangular nuclear powered spy plane, accelerated pressurized mercury, and it creates a plasma anti-gravity field around it, just as John Nance was describing, beyond what us regular old trial lawyers discussing. But needless to say, back to Stephanie Harlow, valuable to our defense, but financially to our government ultimately develops it, and there's high interest in foreign regarding U.S. research in anti-gravity. Now, I've gone a little far afield, but that, Stephanie Harlow, that is what Joshua LeBlanc was studying.
Yes, I mean, if you could learn how to manipulate gravity even in a small way, it would change the game completely for everything. It would change everything: architecture, travel, military weapons, obviously, and the privatized business fields like Tesla, SpaceX, Blue Origin. But Joshua LeBlanc was studying propulsion. They're always trying to start way of propulsion because most of a jet or a plane or a rocket that goes into 5% fuel. So if you could figure out a way to reduce that fuel payload, then obviously you could go further, you could go faster. So they have a lot of people at NASA and the Jet Propulsion Lab and all over the military and government trying to figure out how to manipulate gravity and find a better way of propulsion.
That said, Stephanie Harlow, we have a NASA new.
They're wrong about how to figure out how to navigate gravity. Well, Amy was on to that. Amy Erskine was into that gravity thing. You know what I mean? She was working on all that anti-gravity and all that lot. So, did she?
Nuclear engine beyond recognition in his Tesla. What happened that morning?
So Joshua LeBlanc left his house pretty early, and like a lot of the other scientists on this list that we're talking about, he left his wallet behind, he left his phone behind, and then he drove his Tesla to the Huntsville airport, which was about 15 minutes away from his home. And that's where it sat for 4 hours before he started driving about another 2 hours, and then randomly, for no reason that we can figure out, crashed his Tesla directly into a guardrail. The car caught on flames, and by the time they got there, they said the car was incinerated and the body inside of it was unrecognizable.
Now they're all electric. Could someone have hacked into the electrics of the car, the computer? So all electric, all computerized. So could someone have hacked into his car and caused that crash?
And Joshua, they want Tesla to give them video because the Tesla has video, especially if there's a crash that deploys the airbags, where they will take short video, but they don't store them in the cloud. They're usually in the US. If the car was burned beyond recognition, it's obviously destroyed, but Tesla would still have a way to retrieve that video. Joshua LeBlanc's family does not think on his own, and they suspect foul play, as do I.
NASA nuclear engineer Joshua LeBlanc, nearly 30, just 29, in the midst of highly sensitive research, burned beyond recognition in the wreckage of his Tesla Model 3 there near the Space Center in Huntsville, Alabama. Family report him missing 4:32 a.m. that day. It wasn't until 2:45 p.m. his car was found. I find very concerning. Let me understand this, Stephanie Harlow, that he, without his wallet or ID or driver's license, to the airport and sat there for hours, or at least his car did. Did he meet anyone? Just sit in a parking lot for hours?
I'm not sure. His family wants to know as well, because Joshua didn't show up for work that morning, and that was very unlike him. He was good at his job. He was having
Exactly. Sitting at an airport for 4 hours. Was he meeting someone? I still think because of the make of the car, someone got into hacked the car. Because that car, you can have it on auto drive, you know what I mean, where you don't have to steer it, you just auto drive it. As long as it knows where it's going, it will auto drive. It will stop when it has to, it will go when it has to. Right? Yeah, was it him in the car? That's a good question, Neuro. Was it him in the car if unrecognisable? Was there any DNA that could have got from him? Fire is the worst thing to have in a death, because fire kills any DNA. So how do we know it was him in the car? Could have been someone else. Perhaps he caught a plane under a new different name, a different passport, and out the country, and then someone else got in that car. No, there'd be no DNA if it was incinerated, if there's nothing there. There'd be no DNA. And fire in a car would just burn anything, even fingerprints, it'd be gone. So how do we know it was him in the car?
He talked to his family and friends every single night. He did that date made sense. And I think that it's
Just waiting for it to come. Thank you.
important to understand CIA document leaks called Vault 7 that Wiki years ago. And in those document leaks, it shows that the CIA is exploring how to remotely hijack vehicles to undertake what they have said, in their words, not mine, nearly undetectable assassinations. So when you see something like this, what happened to Joshua LeBlanc, I think your brain goes there. I know mine did immediately.
Straight out to Dave Mack, Crime Stories investigative reporter. Is it true that it took 3 days, his body?
It did, Nancy. His body was Department of Forensic Sciences, but even with everything at their disposal, it took 3 full days to positively identify LeBlanc.
Okay, straight out to Dr. Kendall Crowns joining us. Dr. Crowns, is the chief medical examiner, not a medical examiner, the chief medical examiner at Tarrant County, that's Fort Worth, Texas. He is a star of a hit podcast, Mayhem in the Morgue. And more importantly, he is an esteemed lecturer at the Burnett School of Medicine at TCU and has performed literally over 10,000 medical autopsies. Dr. Kendall Crowns, thank you for being with us tonight. Dr. Crowns, why 3 days to identify his body? I mean, that's Tesla, number one. The family reported him missing. Why did it take 3 days to figure out it's him?
Well, actually, 3 days is a little surprising to me because I would think it would take even longer. If a body's burned beyond recognition, meaning that the facial skin has been burned away all the way to the bone, you
No
have to
fuel,
do
no, it's all
techniques to
electric.
figure out who they are. And one of them is dental records. So they have a presumptive ID. They kind of know who he is. They get his dental records and do a comparison. 3 days is, to me, an actually quick time. So I'm not surprised it took that long, but they are going to have to do techniques that are going to take a little longer because he's burned beyond recognition.
Okay, Dr. Kendall Crowns, I know I'm wading into dangerous territory here, arguing chief medical examiner in a metropolitan area, but how hard is it to get dental records? The family says that's his car. He's missing dental records. That should take a couple of hours.
It isn't a couple hours. You have to call the dentist. They have to get the records. They have to bring them to the medical exam.
No fuel, nothing. It's computer on a computer. Because there's this YouTuber I watch, and I watch him just to chill out with. And he does a lot of camping and in motorhomes and all this lot. And he's got a Tesla. He lives in a big warehouse. Because inside the big warehouse is this lovely, lovely fucking motorhome. Right? He lives in. And or caravan, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And he's got a Tesla parked up in there. And he uses that a lot when he goes camping because he adds a tent to it or he'll camp in his car and things like that. And it's all electronic and you only have to hit a little button or switch, click somewhere, and it'll do auto mode where it drives itself. And you see him sitting there having something to eat or drinking while the car is driving. So if there's no fuel, how can a car explode? Let's have a look at this. How can a Tesla car explode into flames? Let's have a look. Let's see what it says. From design and manufacturing defects to charging malfunctions and driver error, we'll examine the complex web of causes that can lead to a Tesla bursting into flames. Oh, so from the batteries and things like that. Okay, let's have a look. Why Teslas keep catching fire? How does it catch a fire? It's got to be through the battery. That's the only way it can start a fire is through a battery. Yeah, it's got one here. Tesla goes up in flames as firefighters struggle to extinguish battery. It's the battery in it. Um, Yeah, so it's the battery in it that can cause a fire. It might be those lithium batteries. I'd have to look into that a bit more to find out what. So, actually, does anyone remember that Tesla where that guy drove the Tesla up to the Trump's hotel and blew it up? Remember? That car was loaded with petrol, everything, petrol canisters, everything in the back of that car. That car was still in one piece, apart from the back panel being blown off. The car itself was in one piece. Even though it went up in flames, the car itself was still in one piece. The shell was still there, everything. The battery, I don't believe is in the front. In the back, I think it's in the front. I think it's in the front. Because as I said, that one that blew up outside Trump's hotel, he had all that ammunition, all that everything to blow a building up. But because it was a Tesla, the Tesla literally took the full blast on the sides of the explosion. The only part that went was the back panel, the roof part on the back that went. The rest of the car was still in shape. Was he UFO involved too? I heard that news. I think you said it was. But the Tesla car was still in one. And they have to use, not water, they have to use foam or something, or a fire blanket. That's it. They had to use these big fire blankets to go over the Tesla to put the flames out. Right? But I don't know, it's the batteries are, I think, let's have a look. Let's Google it again. Okay. Where's the battery in a Tesla? Where is the battery placed in a Tesla? The battery in a Tesla vehicle is located beneath the floor of the car, spanning from the front to the rear axles. The innovative design creates a low center of gravity, which improves the vehicle's stability and handling. The battery pack is typically situated between the front and rear wheels. So I thought it'd be at the front somewhere, but it's between the front and the rear. So yeah, that's what caused the fire. And they have to use that one. If you watch the footage on that one outside Trump's, that you see them taking off this big sheet off the Tesla, and that's like the fire blanket they put over it. Yeah, yeah. Everyone said it was to do. He had something to do with because he'd been seen driving around past that hotel at least 2 or 3 times. He drove past that hotel and then come back. But yeah, the battery is from at the front to the rear axle, just before the rear back wheels. So it's underneath the car. It's not in the front, it's not in the back. It's not in the car itself, it's underneath.
examiner's office. So you're a day
Whoa,
or two.
whoa, whoa,
And then,
whoa. You do know about email, right? You don't have to get in your and go over to the medical examiners. You hit one button and send it. Okay. So that takes 5 minutes. The family says that's his vehicle. He's missing. Here's his dentist. I still don't get what you're saying. Are you saying the teeth were incinerated too?
the teeth can be incinerated in cases to the point that they'll crush when you move the body. But let's say you get the email in a day, and then you have to have a dental professional review the case. It isn't something where that.
Excuse me. Question, yeah. When they when the body is being cremated, they get this metal detector run over the ashes, which picks out any metals in the body, like if there are any hip, whatever, and teeth. So teeth are not incinerated. But even if teeth are, you've got the skeleton or of something. So less chance to catch fire from underneath. But a lot of these Teslas are going up in flames. A lot of Teslas are going up in flames. And they are saying it's down to the battery. Let's see what type of batteries what is. What type of battery is used in a Tesla? Tesla vehicles use lithium-ion batteries primarily in nickel-based NMC and lithium-ion phosphate chemistries, with cell formats including 18650, 2170, 4680, and prismatic types. Nickel-based batteries found in most long-range and performance trims of Models X. These batteries offer higher energy density, providing longer range and better cold weather performances, but they are typically charged to 80 to 90% to reduce degradation. Right. So they are lithium-ion batteries. And a lot of these mobile homes, right, they used to have lithium batteries. A lot of them are changing them from lithium to other batteries now. The one outside Trump's, really. Because everyone was saying it had something to do with a certain religious cult thing. So it's hard to say. But yeah, I'd definitely say
Dental x-rays and make the comparison. You have to get a dental professional, a forensic dentist.
hold on, I just realised what I'm saying. You know he's at the airport for 4 hours. Then he drives away. What have I been saying about the Teslas? You can put them into auto drive. So did he put that car into auto drive before he got out? Got out the car and then the car drove off on its own with no driver. Could that have happened? Could you have got out of the car, put it in auto drive, and then got out of the car and let it go? I don't know if you can do it if you're not in the car. I think you've got to be in the car to be able to do it auto drive. But could you have set it to go to auto drive and then get out of the car? That's my question.
Then make the comparison, and they may not be available that day. It might take a while to come in. So again, 3 days, that's pretty impressive for someone that's been burned beyond recognition. Just because it's his car, you don't know if it's him driving it. You have to make sure and do your due diligence to make sure you got the right body and to make the decision and to make the identification.
I am not suggesting that anyone cut corners in the ID of a dead body at all. I'm saying that with the family saying he's missing, that's his car, there's a dead body in there, they can't get his dental records like that. You know, instant email or even text.
In the car.
But what regarding bringing in a forensic dental specialist, that suddenly makes sense to me. Another issue out to special guest joining us, Frank Milburn, former British intelligence officer who knew another dead scientist very well, Amy Eskridge. I find this also incredibly interesting. A Tesla, as you know, very rarely bursts into flames. It's an electric vehicle less likely to burst into flames compared to gas vehicles, which burst into flames 60 times more than electrics. And I also find it interesting that when Joshua LeBlanc's parents were at first, they thought he had been abducted. When he went missing, he was so reliable and so regular. You know those people that never miss work, ever? They're there when you get there, making the coffee. Then that's Joshua LeBlanc. When they found out that he did not work, they could not hear from him, they reported him missing at 4:30 in the morning. I find that very, very probative. That would be like the camera coming to me and I'm not here. That never happens. That has never happened. See where I'm going with this, Frank?
Yes. When you have something that runs contrary to a subject, an individual's sort of established patterns of life, something that really stands out that is contrary to what they normally do, the way that they normally go to places that they normally go to, deeply suspicious. The issue of the vehicle, I can't speculate the cause of it. What I can say is that vehicular tampering, sabotage is something that Amy Eskridge experienced many times. After she died, other scientists came forward to me anonymously saying that their vehicle as well, as in brakes, to make the vehicle effectively dangerous for them to drive.
Let me see Frank Milburn, please. Former British intelligence officer who knew scientist Amy Eskridge very well, who said point blank, if I am found dead, I did not and would commit suicide. So, Frank, I've had those words from murder victims before, typically in domestic homicide cases, where they would tell their friends, hey, if I'm ever found dead, he did it. I just know that. So I find it very disturbing that she said that. And tonight we're playing some of her recordings, yet no one is taking her self-inflicted gunshot wound seriously. But to Joshua LeBlanc, I'm going to circle back, Frank, with things. Dr. Kendall Crown, so assuming the son was made and the body ID'd through dental records, how does that happen? And do you lose all of your DNA in an incineration of that sort?
So let's start with how the DNA or the dental records are compared. We will take the body at the time of autopsy and do a full dental x-ray equipment just to make a comparison. They usually look at fillings. If there's no fillings, at wreath and pulp cavities to make that identification. Then can a person's be incinerated to the point that yes, if you get the temperature high enough for a long period of time, over 1,000 degrees, you basically will cremate the body and destroy. And these Tesla fires, the problem is they're hard to put out because those lithium batteries keep burners, need to use special techniques to put them out. So they're a very long burning. So it's potential he couldn't burn to the point that there's no DNA, but he has to have been turned to ash at that point. So if there's still parts of the body left, usually the bone marrow is still intact because it's pretty insulated by the fat and muscle and all that. So you could still get DNA from them. If there's a tooth still left, you can still get DNA. But if they get burned completely to ash, of course, there's no DNA left.
Take a look at him with the vehicle. That's the Tesla getting charged. So discussing the lithium batteries, that's a double-edged sword, right?
About the brakes, it says yes, you can disable certain braking features on a Tesla, such as automatic emergency braking and auto brake, but doing so may impact safety. But to do it, you've got to access the controls. Go to the controls menu on your central touch screen. Right. I'll click this. They have to access controls. Go to the controls menu on their central touch screen. Select autopilot. Tap on the autopilot option. Toggle off. Find the automatic emergency braking option and toggle it off. Right. So the feature is designed to prevent collision by automatically applying the brakes when a potential hazard is detected. Disabling it may enhance your control over your vehicle, but also increase the risk of accidents, especially in heavy traffic or unexpected situations. You can also disable the auto brake feature, which is part of the autopilot system. Here's how. Right, so to disable the auto brake, you navigate to autopilot settings on the touchscreen. Go to the autopilot settings, toggle off auto brake, locate the auto brake option, and switch it to the off position. So it's not a matter of going and cutting the brake wires or something like that. They have to go into the computer in the car. As you've said, was he alive when he left that airport? Did they put it into auto drive then? Right? And then also toggle off the braking systems. Did they take all the braking systems off the computer? Now, it's got a computer, so it's got and all cars nowadays, even Teslas, would have what they call the black box. All new cars have what they call a black box, bit like an airplane. So they find that black box, they can find out how fast you're going, what you know what I mean? Everything. So a Tesla would have a black box. Let's just see what they say about that. Hang on. Does a Tesla have what we call a black box? Yes, Tesla vehicles do have a black box, which is referred to as the event recorder, EDR. This allows owners to access crash event data from their vehicles. Many countries require vehicles to be equipped with an EDR, which records data similar to a traditional black box. So that black box, they'd be able to find out whether he had the braking system off. All new cars now have a black box. I didn't know that until about 3 or 4 months ago. I thought, fuck. You know what I mean? Didn't know that. So yes, a Tesla does. So they find that black box, they can go into it and find out what speed he was doing, whether he had the autopilot on, whether he had the autopilot brakes disconnected, whether he had the brakes disconnected, everything. So they'd be able to know that nation. How long has he been dead? When did he die? And he was a UFO whistleblower, wasn't he? Wasn't he going to be UFO whistleblowers? So my son's car's got the black box on it then, and my daughter's car.
There, because Crowns, you're right about the immediate batteries blow, but then there's also the statistic that hardly ever happens with a Tesla. It doesn't just burst into flames as opposed to gas-powered vehicles. What do you make of that, Dr. Crowns?
Well, that's correct.
Well, 2025. So they'd have that black box. As soon as they come up on that crash scene, that is what they go for, the black box. The same as at the Trump Tower. They go for the black box. They find out everything about that car, where it went, how fast it went, when it turned, when the doors opened, when the doors shut, everything. Because it's all run on a computer. So they know what happened to him. They know.
Correct, but I believe he hits it, put the lithium battery in pair into flames. So again, you'd have to look into exactly what happened with the accident to figure out why his car caught on fire. But the problem, once the car catches on fire, the majority of them are made of plastic components and cloth, and they burn quite rapidly and quite quickly and very hot.
Summertime expenses stacking up fast. For many, the only option is swiping that credit card, leaving you trapped in a cycle of high interest debt. But go to American Finances, talk to them. They look at your current debt and can show you how your home about 2 miles away on the side of the road. Anything that would have connected him to the military, gone. Same thing with LeBlanc. No ID, no nothing. No one would have known who he was if he had not been in that Tesla and his family had not reported him missing. It's my understanding that out of the blue, no suicidal ideations, no depression, no anything, was kind of excited about his research and his work. Dave Mack, what happened in the crash. I understand that he crashed through a guardrail and plowed into several trees.
That's exactly what happened. The initial impact in the Tesla was into the guardrail on the side of the road, but he went through the guardrail over the dirt and slammed directly to a couple of trees, Nancy, and that's where the inferno began, was right there in the tree line.
Now, we've learned from his LinkedIn page, he started working as an aerospace technologies electrical engineer at NASA, 2019. What they do, they design, develop, and test hardware and software used in spacecraft, used in satellites, and ground support systems. He also plays a role in the agency's Moon to Mars initiatives. I find it very interesting, Dave Mack. His family first believed he had been kidnapped when they reported him missing at 4:23 in the morning. It was so unlike him.
It's shocking to me that at 4:32 in the morning, his family is calling to report him missing. Look, I get it. Some people don't show up for work, but 4:30 in the morning is a very early and very specific time. And as you mentioned, his family thought abduction. So something else was going on that we haven't been told yet. But I mean, really, Nancy, I get going to work early, but being reported missing at 4:32 in the morning, that is a shocking revelation in this story.
I think for that perhaps it's because he hadn't made a phone call the night before to his parents or to someone. Perhaps he was meeting with someone. Perhaps he had dinner date with someone. You know what I mean? He didn't turn up. And as the family said, he's there. He's there. He had his route. He wasn't one of these guys that would go, oh, you know what? Yeah, there's dinner tonight, but I'm not going to go. I won't phone him. I just won't go. He's not like that. And as I said, he could have been in the car, right? And then someone's hacked into his computer and disabled the auto brake and the manual brake. He tried both, took it off auto because it wasn't braking, tried braking himself, couldn't do it, boom, gone. I think someone's hacked into his computer of his car. But that black box would tell him as well if someone else had been into that computer. Yep. There's another guy who I want to talk about, and I might talk about him. I can't remember his name now. And I saw a video about where they were talking about him the other day. And I have mentioned him before. I'm trying to find it now. Did I write his name down? Well, I don't think I wrote his name down. No, I don't think I've written his name down. Four hours sitting at the airport. Did you have a meeting with someone? Did you meet up with someone at the airport in his car? But I want to know, hold on, I'll Google it again. Can you put a Tesla car into auto drive then get out. Right, let's see. Yes, you can put a Tesla into auto drive and get out. Tesla autopilot system allows you to drive your Tesla without manual control. So he could get right. This upgrade adds features like automatic lane changes and auto park. So you can set the autopilot. You can start the car up, set autopilot, then get out and drive. You know what I mean? The car will just drive without you in it. So that's another possibility, that he was in the car. Something happened in those 4 hours at the airport. They then put his car into, took all the braking systems off. Yeah. Put it into auto drive, got out the car and let the car go. Yeah, how did he park? No money, yeah. And I can't see him, the sort of guy, using cash. It'd be the bank card. Perhaps he had his bank card on him. A lot of people like me have it on their phones. You know what I mean? I have all my cards on my phone. So I can pay everything on my phone. So I don't have cash on me. It's very, very rare I have cash on me. So he could have used it through his phone. So he was out on a plane to that country. Can we look at flights and where they went? He didn't have his phone. Okay. So how did he pay? Did he pay in advance? Google, you're being worked overtime tonight. Can you pay in advance for a car parking at an US airport, isn't it? US airport. Yes, you can pay in parking at a US airport. Many airports offer the option to reserve parking spots in advance, which can often be cheaper than the drive-up rate. So he could have paid for it in advance, right? And then left his phone, got in his car, left his phone, everything. Yeah, but if he's paid for it in advance, he could have paid for it the day before, right? Then he gets up that morning, gets in his car, leaves his phone, everything that of any idea of him at home, goes to the airport, sits there for 4 hours, boom, something happens, someone toggles with his braking system and all that lot, puts it into auto drive and off it goes. Then you plan to go to that country. Oh, God. We're digging deep into this, aren't we? Right. Let's see if I can find something tomorrow. Did planes. What date was it again? Leave US to that country. Right, I've got that circled so that I can check that out tomorrow. if I can find anything, because sometimes in the UK I am not able to get into certain things. Right? But that's a good question. It doesn't say that here. Right? Let's see what it just say. You can typically book parking through the airport's official website or app, ensuring you have a spot and potentially save time and money. Payment methods for parking include credit cards, debit cards, and sometimes cash out kiosks. It's advisable to book your parking in advance, especially during busy travel sessions, to secure a spot and avoid potential delays. Didn't say anything about a QR code, but you'd have to have something, wouldn't you, to scan, surely. Like you say, a QR code or something to get in. But then there's places, hold on. There's places where you can book in advance and all you got to do is give them your registration number and there's a camera. There's cameras that read the registration number as you pull up to the wherever the car park, and it'll read your registration number and log it in. Yeah, that's paid, and open the gate up. So sometimes you don't need a QR code, it's just your registration number. How do I know that? Because I watched this camping program where they pay for caravan sites or car parks in advance, right? So they can get there and know that they've got a spot in the car park or a spot in wherever. And it recognises their registration number. And as soon as they read that registration number, the gate goes up. You learn a lot from these programs I watch. About flights. Did any flights, planes leave from US to that country? Yeah, it would be just a number plate. They'd have like, you have these LPR, license plate readers. It's a bit like that. It registers the right license plate and then it opens up. You wouldn't. Think about his case stinks to high hell. The fact it was a Tesla car he was in, people thinking, oh, it's got to be one of the safest cars going. And then the fact that there had been reports before of these Tesla cars just going up in flames, right? So they probably put it down to the battery. Boom. It'd be at Huntsville, wouldn't it? Yeah. Nearest one to that. So, be interesting to know. But like you say, I think he was in that car. He met with someone in that car park. 4 hours in a car park. Right? And then they toggled with his brakes and all that lot on the computer. Or they've done it by hacking into his car. And then they've just set the car to auto drive and away it's gone. Yeah, you can. How can you? I think you can do it over your phone. I'm finding out so much about Teslas and payments at airports. Is there an app on your phone to drive a Tesla on auto drive? Yes, there's an app on your phone to drive a Tesla in auto drive mode. The Tesla app allows you to control various aspects of your vehicle remotely, including starting the car, locking, unlocking it, and tracking its location. Hold on, there's more. You can also enable autopilot, which provides advanced driving assistance features, including lane keeping and adaptive cruise control. To use autopilot, ensure your vehicle is equipped with the necessary hardware and software for full self-driving capabilities. The app also allows you to summon your vehicle from a distance. The app also allows you to summon your vehicle from a distance and manage other vehicle functions. For more detailed instructions, you can refer to the Tesla app or the official Tesla website. So they could have had it on their phone. They are expensive. I wouldn't buy one. I don't like the look. Some of these Teslas aren't like, the first lines are like spaceship sort of thing. I don't know if they changed the design in the cars, but plus the sea ghosts at cemeteries on here. But there's something strange about this guy, his death.
Because something else was happening, or they wouldn't have done it.
Back to Dr. Kendall Crowns, they burn 500 degrees Celsius, 1,000 degrees, between 500 and 1,000 degrees. Is that enough to totally incinerate the body beyond recognition?
Yes, it can be. I mean, if you sustain that 1,000 degrees for a long period of time, it will completely burn away the skin. It will cause what we say is it makes the skin kind of black and crisp like charcoal, and then it burns away to the bone. Then the bones, as they're being burned at this sustained heat, will become brittle and break. And again, at 1,000 degrees and higher, you're basically cremating him, and he's sitting in a metal box, which is going to keep that heat in and circulating. And then, so it's an environment that could easily burn him beyond recognition quite quickly.
The part that's very unusual, well, it's all unusual, is what Stephanie Harlow told us, the star of Crime Weekly, that he first went to the airport there in Huntsville and sat there for hours. Why? Doing what? Did he meet someone? Why was he driving around with no cell phone, no ID, no wallet, no anything? What happened in those hours? Was anyone with him? Did anyone get into that car? Did he have a burner phone? Is any of that caught on video? Airports are like Vegas casinos. They are covered with video cams. Where's the camera? Where's the video? As of yet, it has not emerged. Does it still exist?
I'm having about the black box, Nancy. Come on. Ask about the black box.
Which leads me to Frank, former British intelligence officer who knew another dead scientist, Amy Eskridge, very well. Frank, I'd like you to listen to her voice, to her tapes that you have provided.
We discovered what was up when we got back, and the car battery was drained, the pepper spray was emptied, right? They just had a colonel walk out of the airport behind me. He didn't have any luggage. I don't think he even flew that day, right? My car failed to start, and then he offered to jump it for me, right? Jumped my car, and then I went along my merry way. Totally okay, right? I have not traveled by air, and I also have not left the city by car either ever since then.
From our friends at Daily Mail to Frank Milburn, what is she talking about?
Yeah, she's talking about an incident that happened when she came back from out of town, when she came back to her airport near Huntsville. And this is something that was recurring for her. She would go out of town, fly out, she'd come back. Her vehicle had been tampered with. Even when she didn't fly, her vehicle would be tampered with. The vehicle would be in an airport car parking lot, where presumably there's cameras and there's surveillance, people moving in and out. So you'd have, presumably you'd have some record of it. I was being tampered with. Whether it was products inside the car, items inside the car, the door would just be left open, ajar, so that the battery would run down, so that when she came back, she had a problem. But this was recurrent, not only to her at airports, but also at other locations, and also including at home. And there's a video where she's very worried. She found footsteps outside her house. There's another one where she's talking about her car being her mother's car being battery drained.
Also, allegations that her home computer had been hacked. Listen.
So I maybe just sent a message to Tim on LinkedIn and informed him that if I see one more illegally leaked document of photos that were taken from my laptop bag from my home by your business, I'm going to call the FBI. You've been informed has committed interstate felonies because he took pictures in Alabama, he transported them across state lines to New Jersey, and he posted them online from New Jersey. That's an interstate felony, considering the NDA. It's an act of corporate espionage because he founded a competing company right after that. It's an act of international espionage because he has a dual citizenship status. It's an act of breach of executive presidential privilege because the document is, addressed to Trump on the very first page. And are you aware that your business partner left a very messy, very messy trail of evidence, of these multiple felonies that's extremely, extremely easy to prove in court?
Frank, what is she talking about? Do you believe her computer had been hacked?
That happened to her a lot, and she was regularly, for example, when she was attacked with directed energy weapon, which is well documented, she was working on an air-gapped computer precisely because she didn't want to be connected to the internet. Her team and her clean, reinstall their phones, their computers, precisely because of this hacking. But in that particular here, the person that she names in the clip that you played previously, he's been gaslighting me, and since before she died, she knew. I've got emails going back to I've got documents going back to 2021 saying that she was being a target of industrial espionage by him and his partner. These people have been trying to gaslight her before and after her death and trying to portray her as crazy, as not competent. But this should be thoroughly investigated by the FBI. Gaslight me too. So, this is actually disgusting behavior, talking very, very badly about a deceased dead lady who can't defend herself. But that's why I'm here to defend her.
Well, you mentioned something very important to me, Frank, and that was that she was hired and cleared by the government and was actually working Homeland Security. I want to and bottom line is you have to go through so much. Isn't that true, John Nance, for her to get that type and to be working working with Homeland Security and with the government, anti-gravity and jet propulsion research, she would have to be cleared out the yin-yang.
Yeah, I would think that she would at least have a TS SCI clearance and probably access to maybe SAP, like these very, very secure compartmentalized programs.
Right. That's what she said about the God. We can listen to that another night. What the hell? Oh. God, my man over there. Let's get him back in the centre. Oh, come on. Won't put my man in the centre. Oh. That's why. That's why. Okay. Right. So, that guy with the Tesla, I'm going to look into that one a bit more. Huntsville Airport. Why was he at the airport? As she said, was he meeting someone? There'd be cameras there as well. So it doesn't make sense. They must have some information on his death. There's cameras at the airport. That guy, Angela. I can't think of his name. But he did a video, and then while he was on live, he found out his co-writer to a book or something that he'd done, that they published, had died. He didn't even know about that. Found out about that halfway through the stream. And then he's talking about the scientists going missing and all this lot. And then literally 3 days after he did that video, he was found dead. I can't think of his name. I know I've got his name somewhere. I'm sure I've written his name down. So, but I'll find it because he's another interesting one. But he looked ill. And not only that, when he was doing his videos, he kept looking around. That's it. David Wilcox, is it? Have I forgot his name? Should have his name then. I haven't got his name down here. That's it, David Wilcox. I'm going to write his name down now so I know I've got it then. Right? And when he was doing his live, I noticed he seemed to be on edge. And he would make jokes about things and whatever. But you could tell he seemed really on edge and he kept looking over, like as though he heard something or saw something, and he'd look over, then he'd come back to the screen, then he'd look over again. And literally 3 days later, he was found dead. So I want to look into him. But I will look into the Huntsville Airport and if any planes left for that country. If I can get the information, that is. Anne's good at that. Anne's the best one for getting information like that. Normally, by the time I've got up in the morning and logged on, I'll go into my emails and Anne's sent me this email about this information. I'll go, fuck's sake, girl, you've been up all night. I'm thinking, oh my lord, I've only just got up and logged into my laptop, you know what I mean? But no, It's weird. That Tesla car, I think if you ease him in that car, then that black box will tell him everything. That black box will tell him when the door was open, when it was shut, what time, if the auto brakes have been took off, and the manual brakes have been took off. It would show everything. Right? And it also would it record voice? Right? I'm wondering if it would record voices. Hang on, just before we go off, I'm just going to check something else here. No, it does not record voices. It's designed to record data related to traffic collisions such as vehicle speed, throttle position, airbag deployment times, and more. However, it does not capture audio or video data, which is a significant distinction from its aviation counterpart. Now, you'd think a Tesla would capture the voice and video. The exclusion of audio recording is specifically mentioned in the UN Regulation 160 on event data recorders, adopted by the World Forum for Harmonisation of Vehicle Regulations in March 2021. This regulation ensures that car black boxes do not record conversations or other sounds inside the vehicle, protecting the privacy of car users. It would be handy if it did, because then they'd know if there was someone else in that car in that 4-hour time. You know what I mean? But it would show what door opened. Was it the passenger side door that opened or the driver's side door that opened? Yeah, it didn't sound suicidal. Yeah, he planned another live, yeah. So, but he did, when he was sitting there, I was watching him, and he seemed a bit anxious. It was kept checking over this one side, looking over to this one side. Right? Because I know that feeling, because when I lived in the flat, my desk and my laptop was in the balcony. Right? And I kept looking, and because my balcony was it used to be outside balcony, but then they had it all enclosed in with windows. Really, really nice. But they left the kitchen outer window in, the one that went from the kitchen to the balcony, where you could see out into the open balcony. But I left that window in. So every so often I'd be looking over my shoulder into the kitchen, because I thought I'd see something or I heard something. I thought, I know that fit. I know I've been there. Where I've looked at myself, think, what was that? To myself, you know what I mean? It just seemed to be anxious and a bit on edge, sort of thing. But then he was cracking jokes, he'd crack jokes, sort of thing. But it doesn't make sense. Not when he planned to do another live, that 3 days later is found unalived. That doesn't make sense to me. And something I've heard today in the UK, And I won't mention it here because I'll email you and Annie this. But it's just got my senses going. I'm thinking, interesting. But I'll email it you. I'm not going to talk about it on here. Right? Because you never know. Ears could be listening in. Certain words could be used against me, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to, but I'll email you both afterwards and let you know what what I want to say, but I don't want to say it on here. Anyway, I will look into that guy a bit more, who worked with, I've got his name. Right. He was the one who was going to give evidence. I did write that one down, I'm sure I did. Box, yeah. But I will email you and Anne about that after I come off and I close this down. So I'm going to leave it there because that it's just something about this case that has brought my Matthew. Is that who I was talking about tonight, Matthew Sullivan? I think I've got his name written down somewhere then. Yeah, I've got his name written down. Air Force Intelligence Agency, National Air Space Intelligence Center, National Security Agency. You know what I mean? As I said, all these people that have gone missing or been found unalive was a whistleblower. Okay. All these people that have either gone missing or found alive or found unalived are all literally at their peak of their career. And some of them could go even higher because of their age. Yeah, you wonder, doesn't it? Wonder what you never got a chance to say at Congress. Some of them are very sus. Some of them you could put down to, okay, health and whatever. But it's just too much. I don't believe in coincidences when it comes to people who are being found unalived or people who have gone missing. I don't believe in coincidences. Well, it is. I don't think it's in coincidence that all these people have gone missing. I don't think it's a coincidence that all these people have been found unalived. There's a reason behind it. It's not a coincidence. Right? You're welcome, Annie. It's not a coincidence that all this has been happening. And I'm waiting for the next one to come up. One after General McCaslin. Yep. No one, hardly anyone. And if they are, it's channels you don't know about. It's not like Nancy's talking about it. You don't hear any of these other ones talking about it, which is weird. I know I normally talk about missing children, but it's missing children and adults, and these are missing people. and something's not right over there. Anyway, I've got to go. It is getting on late now, so I'm going to say goodnight and thank you for being here. And if you're watching on replay and you got to the end, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe. That's all I ask. It's all completely free. You don't pay a penny. And I will see you on the next one. Until then, stay safe.
Never slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last and to